Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Here I have today I have created a Navbar using HTML, CSS and a little bit of JavaScript, which is fully responsive to any types of devices. So I'm gonna go here and click on inspect. You will see that it is going to be responsive to any types of devices. So I'm gonna go here and click on toggle devices, and here you have to choose the responsive mode. So after that, it enables you to decrease and increase its size. So as you see here, when I decrease its size, it's changed its shape to a hamburger menu, and it's going to work like this. Now if you need your the tabs here, you just have to click on. You will see that we do have our tabs here, and if I click on again, you will lose it. So after that, you notice that it's fully responsive. So let's create a DAO, but before we start writing codes, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this one. Here I am in a Visual Studio Code, and I have already created a folder called responsive navbar. Inside this responsive navbar, I have an image. With this image is just this background that we do use in our web page, in our main project. So here I'm going to create an index.html file. So I'm going to say index.html, and for some reason I can't put this out of this image, so I'm going to move it out of this, and now we're going to write our HTML. So I'm going to say HTML, and if you just press on HTML5, this is going to generate this template for me. I'm just in its title, we're going to just say responsive navbar. So after this, I'm going to come here and create a container. So I'm going to say container, and inside this container we're going to have our navbar, and inside this navbar the first thing we're going to have is a hamburger. So I'm going to say hamburger. Inside this hamburger we're going to have 3 divs with a class of line. We want to duplicate this. To do so, we're going to shift down key. And after that, we're gonna go and create a style.css file, because we want to set this hamburger menu, its display to none. So I'm gonna say style.css, and you have to make sure that you are connecting your CSS file with the HTML. So I'm gonna come here and say link, and this is going to be a style.css. Now I'm going to go in CSS and select everything here. So I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to set its margin to 0 and also its padding to 0. And now I'm going to come here and select my computer hang. Here I'm going to select the hamburger. So I'm going to say hamburger. Inside this hamburger, we're just going to set its display to none for now, because we don't want it bother for us. When we make it responsive, we will fix it. So after that, I'm going to come here in an index.html file. So out of this hamburger, I'm going to come here, and here we're going to create our logo. So I'm going to say .logo, and inside this logo we're going to create an h1. We're just going to pass joy learn. So after this, I'm going to create our UL. So before that, I'm going to create a div. I'm going to say items. Inside this items, we're going to have our UL, and inside this ULI, and inside this we're going to have our a tag, which is going to refer to nowhere, but inside itself has home. We need to duplicate this for a couple of times, so I'm just going to copy this and paste it down here 4 times. So I'm going to change it to join as, and here I'm gonna go and say about as, and the first one is going to be contact as. So now we're done, and in all of my tutorials I mentioned that here I install an extension called live server, and using this you will be able to run your code easily. So I'm going to right click on my HTML file, make sure you're clicking on HTML file, else it's not going to work for you. And here it gives me an option which is open the live server. If I click on it, you could see our project live in the browser. So it's time to install it a little more. To do so, we have already connected our style.css. I'm going to come here and select the container. So I'm going to say container. We're going to give it a width of 100%, and also a height of 100 VH. We're going to give it a background, which is going to be an image. To choose an image, we're going to say URL, an image. Inside the image, we have our background.jpg, and inside this, after that, we're going to give it a background position of background position of center, and its background size is going to be cover. So now our web page is going to look like this. We're going to select our navbar. We want to style our navbar, so I'm going to say navbar. Inside this navbar, we're just going to set its display to flex. So I'm going to say display to flex, and justify content to space between. It's a space between. Let me check what I put. Yes, it's a space between, and align items to the center, and we're gonna give it a padding of 5 pixels from the top and bottom, and 10 pixels from the sides. And we're gonna give it a background, which is going to be an RGBA color. It's going to be 19, 19, and 19, and 0.5. Its opacity is going to be 0.5. Now we have our navbar here. We want to style our UL here, another list. So I'm gonna go here, but before we're gonna do that, we're gonna install this a little more that logo. So I'm gonna say dot logo, and inside this logo, select each one. We're just gonna set its color to a color of white. You see that it changed. So after that, I'm gonna select our UL. So I'm gonna say dot navbar and select the UL, and inside this UL we're just gonna set its a list style to none, and also we're gonna give it a display of flex, and they are going to be positioned side by side. Now we're gonna select our navbar. So I'm gonna select it, copy, and paste it down here, and from this select the li, and inside the li we're just gonna give it a margin of 1 rem, and it's a font size, it's going to be 1.3 rem. So now it's all looking like this. I'm just gonna copy this out, copy and paste it down here, and from here we're gonna select our A tag. We're just gonna set its color to white, and also text decoration to none. We're done with the styling. Now we have to make it responsive. To do so, you need to use media queries. So I'm gonna put, and I'm gonna say making it responsive. I know that is not a big, correct commenting, but at least it's gonna do something for us. So I'm gonna go here and click on inspect, and after that here we select this one, and we're gonna see till which sizes it is responsive. So in a size of 650, it's looking better, and after that we want to change this menu to a hamburger. So to do it, I'm gonna type the media query. So I'm gonna say media, and in which site we want to change it to hamburger. So I'm gonna say max width, it's going to be 650 pixel. So inside this I'm gonna select the nav bar, and inside the nav bar I'm gonna select the hamburger, and here I'm gonna set its display to flex because we said that it's display to none before. So after that I'm gonna give it a position. Before the position I'm gonna give it a width of 35 pixel and a height of 30 pixel. So I'm gonna say 30, and its position is going to be fixed. So what's that error? And after that we're gonna give it a background. So I say background, its background is going to be red, and from the top we're gonna set it to 5 pixel, and from the right it's going to be 10 pixel, and it's not going to be visible, so we're gonna set its z index to something like 300. Put a bigger number here. So after this, if I decrease its size less than 650, you will see that we do have this here, but it's not looking like this hamburger that we do have in our main project. you see that it's looking like this. We will make it to look like this. To do so, I'm going to select the hamburger. So I'm going to say hamburger, and from the hamburger select its lines. So inside this, we're just going to give it a width of 100% and a height of only 3 pixels, and also its background is going to be light gray. So I'm going to say light gray, and now you will see that we do have it, but it's not looking like that. We're just gonna go and here set its justified count. I mean, the first one, we're gonna select its flex direction. So its flex direction is going to be column, and and now we're gonna set its justify content to space between. Now it's looking like this. We don't need this background anymore, so I just get rid of it. And after that, at the here, we don't want this background to be here, so I'm gonna go and select the navbar. So I'm gonna say dot navbar. We're just gonna get rid of its background, so I'm gonna say background, and it's going to set to none. So now we don't have any background here, and we want to set the UI, so I'm gonna type it now, but later I will explain. So I'm gonna say navbar, and the problem is our UL. So here I'm gonna set its display to none, and now we do not have it here. So after this, I'm gonna come here and set its display to position. Its position to absolute. These are not going to be visible. We are going to fix it using JavaScript. So after this, I'm gonna come here and set its flex direction to column, and yeah. So now I go here, and we want to, whenever we click on, we want to have that UL. But before that, I'm gonna do its styling. So I'm gonna say align items to the center, and we're gonna set justify content to center. Also, we're gonna give it a background of an RGB, which was the before RGBA, and it's going to be 19, 19, 19, and 0.5. And also from the right, it's going to be 0, and from the top, it's going to be 0. And also, we're going to give it a width of 10 rem, and its height is going to be 100 vh. So this is not visible now, but we are going to fix it using JavaScript. So I'm gonna go here and create an script.js file. So I'm gonna come here, my mouse goes crazy. So I'm gonna create a script.js file. And you need to make sure that you are connecting your JavaScript file with the HTML. So I'm gonna go at the top of this. I'm gonna come here and say a script, and its src is going to be a script.js, but this is going to run before all of our codes, HTML and CSS. So I'm going to say defer to run after all the codes that we have write and our HTML. So here I'm going to select, I'm going to create a variable, call it hamburger menu. So I'm going to say hamburger menu, and we're going to select, so I'm going to say document dot query selector, sorry. Query selector, and this is going to select our hamburger. So I'm going to say hamburger, and we also need another variable, call it cons, and this is going to be an order list, and we're going to have access to it using JavaScript. So I'm going to say document dot query selector, and this is going to be our navbar and UL. So after that, I'm gonna also I don't know if I'm going to need the body, so I don't need the body here. I'm gonna select this hamburger menu. I'm gonna say not select, type it out, hamburger menu, and add an event listener to it. It's going to listen to a click event, and after that it's going to run a function, a really loud regular function. So let's say a function, and inside this what we want to do is to disappear that one. So to do it, I'm gonna say an order list dot style dot an order list dot style dot display to flex. So now I'm gonna go here and make sure you are in a console to see the changes or the errors. So I'm going to click on this hamburger, and this is going to appear this one, but we are not able to disappear this one. To do it, I'm going to go here and create a variable. I don't know if there was an easier way, but my teacher, when I was learning coding, I don't know when was it, but he had this kind of techniques. So we call it Larmonchal in our language. So I'm going to say count, click, assign it to 0. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go here and increase this count. So I'm going to say count, click, plus, plus. So you will realize why I'm doing this. I'm going to say if, and if our count click is, it's if it's I don't know how to explain this, but if we I'll explain it for you. If we divide this to, let me write its code, then I will explain it. So I'm going to say here I'm going to pass it in a parenthesis, sorry, to do it first. And if its result is equal to 1, show it for us. So inside this I'm going to say copy this one, cat it actually, and paste it down here, and that's all. So what this is going to do for us, here I've created a variable called count click, and this is going to count our click. I don't know if we have any toggle function, but because we do not have a toggle function in JavaScript, at least maybe, I don't know, I'm going to create a toggle function by myself. So here the result of count is if the result, so here if I just here I'm just gonna console.log the count, console.log the count click. So I'm going to say count click. You will realize it. So at the console here, if I click on, you will see that we have 1. If I click twice, we have 2, 3, and 4. I got these numbers and divided by, I mean, we take the fraction. I don't know what is called fraction. I divided, I take this number and divide it by 2, and if the result is equal to 1, we are going to show it, else we just gonna set its display to none. So I'm gonna say unorder list and copy this out and paste it down here. So I'm gonna set its display to none. So now if I click on, you will see that here we do have it, but if I click on again, it's going to disappear. It's going to appear, disappear, appear, disappear. So now if I increase this size, you will see that we have it here. But now if I click on and this disappear this one, now if I increase its size, you will see that the hamburger menu gone, but we do not have our list. So because of that, we have to write another media query. So I'm going to come in style.css. I'm going to type .add media, and inside this media, I'm going to say main with, and this is going to be 652 so pixel. And if its main width is this, we're gonna select the navbar. So I'm gonna say navbar, and from the UL again we're gonna set its display to flex. And this is not going to work for you because I have some reasons. Because JavaScript is closer to HTML rather than style.css. So here you have to pass the important. So I'm going to say important. Now, if I decrease its size, it's going to work for us. And there you go, we have it. And it's fully responsive to any types of devices. So if you guys understand this, you can get away from this. But if you haven't, I'm going to explain this JavaScript code here for you. Here, I told you that I don't know if we do have the toggle function in JavaScript. I don't have really access to internet to search on. And here I have created my function, which is going to act like a toggle. I have created a variable called count, click, and assign it to the 0. And after that, why I create this? Because I want to divide this click on this number and on 2. So if we divide, it's not divide, I don't know what it's called. Reminder. If the reminder of the division of this count is 2, the reminder of this is, I'm sorry, I can't explain it. Reminder, yeah, it's reminder. So here, if the reminder of count click by 2 is equal to 1, because at the result you only gonna get at the result of this one, this count, you only gonna get a number between 1 or 2. So I'm gonna copy this and console.log it to you guys understand. So I'm gonna say console.log and paste it down here. So here I have to pass another one. So now if I click on, I'm gonna get rid of this, comment it out. So now I click on, you guys see that we get a number between true and false, true and false. This is just going to compare this one. It's not going to show us any result, but true known as 1 and false known as 0. And if they are equal, this is going to display flex for us, which we set its display here to the none. But if isn't, it's going to show it for us. So this was from our tutorial. I hope that I don't make you guys confused, and I hope that you really enjoyed this tutorial. And if you learned something, I'm really fit to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. So take care of yourself and bye.